5, consideration and possible awarding / rejection of a request for proposal RFP 2024-021 for Riskin Building Lease.
Yes, this is, we received one, it was a sole bidder. It was AGA Management. This is to create revenue. It would be a lease for 75 cents per square foot. It's around, the total area, it's 1,928 square feet approximately. So it would be a revenue about 1,445 per month, which equals about $17,000 per year. We received the proposal and the recommendation of the panel composed of Mr. Valderas, Mr. Murua, Mr. Marquez, Ms. Adi Mendoza, Monica Jimenez, and Zinaida Rodrigues, and Ms. Mayra Huerta. They recommended to award and go into negotiations.
Okay.
Quick question. So they want to lease?
Yes.
Why 75 cents per square feet? Leases are going at 1 and 150.
That was recommended by the Economic Development Director, Mr. Marquez, to increase,
Interest.
yes, interest in the public.
No, but it's, I mean, I haven't
Mr.
seen
Marquez.
75 cents in years,
Right.
unless in a new building.
That's a really good point. So prior to us going, actually, this is the third time that we've attempted to try to recruit somebody into the building. And one of the things that we run into as feedback from the people that have presented us or submitted an application is that the rates have been just too high. Again, this is the third attempt going through the RFP process.
But have they been able to go in? Because we barely went to see it. So how can people know if it's still under construction? We still wore helmets and we barely started to see the progress. So I think it's just a bad timing that we haven't actually, or we haven't sent the pictures correctly or something. But to be honest, I haven't seen 75 cents per square feet in a long time. You're talking about half of what we see. It's the downtown that usually you see a little bit of like at least tops $1.25, even $1.50. And it's a brand new building. It's a very different idea and concept, which is great. I was like thrilled, and I said, oh my God, I can imagine an office, here and staying here when I saw it the other day. So I think it's just not being that open to the public just yet. And I can assure you that the moment that people sees it, they're gonna actually lease it for way more. I'm not saying to exceed, but I'm pretty sure that we don't have enough space for people to lease.
I think, it could be possibly a little premature.
The only other thing I had was remember when we had the initial idea of this project, was it to be an incubator? Now, in thinking with that, I wanted to know what is the most long-term that they can actually lease it so that we can hold true to the idea of the incubator project? Because at first I was like 75 cents is it threw me back a lot, but I'm going back to the initial project. That would actually be the reason why you would do a really low lease, is because you are an incubator. It's not supposed to be the most highly generated, that way you can get them, they can get them off the ground, but I just want to make sure that they're not locked into that amount for a very long time either, because then you're going from incubator to just a giveaway. There's a difference.
And what kind of business is this?
So this is a restaurant, and actually you bring up a really good point, because one of the other arguments was that the contract, as is stated on the RFP, is that we would not allow, the first contract would be a 5-year contract with the option to only renew once. And again, when somebody's looking long-term, again, making any modifications or changes to the building itself, they just did not see it financially feasible for them to make a large investment on there with essentially being able, or not being able, but having to be pushed out of there after X amount of years. So.
I think Councilman Davis makes a really good point. We did start this as an incubator project, right? And so I think that setting terms, maybe finding something in the middle, right? Because I do think that maybe it shouldn't be the going rate if we are trying to help businesses start out. But then we should probably also start thinking about terms, because if only 1 or 2 or 3 businesses have access to the incubator part of it, then the project is not fulfilling what we had originally intended it to do. Well, we wrote, and it's grant funded, right? We
Correct,
received
yes.
money for an incubator
Yeah.
project.
Yeah, most definitely, and I mean, yeah, we definitely appreciate the feedback. The first, like I mentioned, this is the third time that we've gone for RFP on this particular 3 options that we have available. The first one was actually set at $1 per square foot, more relevant to the current 125 to 150, just as you stated, Councilwoman. Going rate, which is true, that is the market rate going for downtown right now. So when we set it at $1 per square foot, we received no applications, and so we, started reaching out into the businesses. Hey, we have this space available. It's going to be great. It's a great opportunity. How come you guys didn't apply?
Has it been in the newspaper? Has it been, because I haven't, again,
Because
I
it looks
haven't
like a
seen
skeleton
it.
still, and
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think that's
right
a
now
good
you
one,
pass
too.
by and you're like, oh my God, how exciting, but it's still, they're still working on it until we were invited and we saw the inside.
Right.
I mean, you see it with other eyes and you get excited because it's a really nice concept. So I believe that we just haven't given the people to actually, see the building and know a little bit more about it. So I guess either we take the plywoods out so they can start seeing the project in a different way, or we put some kind of acrylic cover
wrap
or
or
something so that they can start seeing what we're doing. Otherwise, it's not actually, people don't even know.
Yeah.
Or maybe host something at the art center,
Like an
right?
open house?
Like similar to what we did with the charrette,
What is right?
where we can show a model, we can show a design of the project, give special invitations to local business owners, and engage them in the process. Like that way, they're not going in to see
Right.
plywood, right?
So-
I mean, they're not going to get excited about plywood.
Just for clarification, so we have had a running ad for about, I want to say maybe about 3.5 months
Where?
now. We've had them in a few several ones. We've actually done interviews in Mega, KINL. We have a repeating flyer that goes through Galeria. We've had a couple newspapers cover us already through it. So we've continued to advertising as much as we can. But I mean, most certainly,
I mean,
think
don't
seeing
laugh
the-
and go to
seeing the
compliment.
finished product
Yeah.
makes a huge.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is absolutely true. What
Or
you're
put
saying
a
is
video,
the-
maybe, I mean, something, very informal, but at the same time, I mean, it's gonna help a lot. I mean, we have,
At least
great
a fo-
staff to do it.
Office space available for lease or something.
Exactly, we don't even have a sign outside, so it's not the right marketing for that space, and probably just, put it in Comprivendo. I mean, everybody loves Comprivendo. So, I mean, automatically they go and see it. So things like that, I mean, just give it a try. I'm not saying that we want to support people that are gonna, I mean, we support restaurants there. I mean, I have an office downtown and I, want to have more options there for food. So, I think it's just maybe negotiating a little bit and making it happen, but I mean, we need to take care also of the, the revenue that we're getting into something that it's really nice, so.
No, and I completely agree. I don't know if legal counsel can back me up on this, but we did find that most recently the RFP process is not necessarily the one that we have to abide by specifically when it comes to real estate as a city. We actually found a way that us as a city, as a governmental entity, through the real estate portion, we can actually advertise just as any real estate agent. So if that is the case, I mean, we can definitely, host an open house. We can definitely have, a couple models on the side. Because you're absolutely right. The approaches that we've taken so far, literally visually do not show what the potential could be. Most of it has to been, by voicing what we can imagine what it would look like. But yeah, definitely, showing people in person can definitely, probably benefit us more. So if you guys would like, we can definitely, reject this and take that approach and try to do it as.
I think, I'm going to give you another suggestion, is I think you might want to have a nice PowerPoint presentation that shows a lot of the renditions of what the potential the building has.
Sure.
I would actually invite you, if I sort of step roles, and invite you to do a presentation to our business luncheons at the Chamber of Commerce. We can also include the SBDC on there, and that way, once they have an idea, maybe some of the people that maybe want to start a business, not one that actually exists already.
Sure.
Because that's actually the idea of the incubators, to start new businesses, so they can come out and they can actually try to look for the other funding and try to use I mean, there's always a lot of people from the different lending institutions that usually attend those, so, I mean, you have the captive audience of where you need to be.
We can, like I said, these are all great ideas. We're more than happy to follow through with these.
Is this a current business that's already established, AJ Management?
Not the business itself, but the, what do you call it, the business owners, yes.
Is it a starting business?
That
That's a new
particular,
business.
this particular version of it, yes. But no, the people that submitted the application do have current businesses.
So that's maybe something that we have to look at too. Are you gonna incubate or help people that are gonna start off, or people that already know how to run a business?
Sure. Yeah. Our ideal is to have somebody that has a little bit more experience, maybe 1 or 2 years
You wanna
already
make
in the
sure they're
business.
successful.
Yeah, so that way, because as we know, businesses tend to fail within the first year, so we want to make sure, obviously, that we bring somebody that's
Does
gonna.
anybody want to make a motion on this item?
Is there a way that we can submit an action, make an action to,
Table, maybe.
no, or,
Table?
well, yeah, let's table it. I wanted to say to renegotiate or
Negotiate.
negotiate, I mean, just leave it open to negotiation and bring it back. But yeah, that pretty much means table it, so. And, yeah,
my
I
thing
make a
back.
motion to table this item and probably invite you to negotiate
It turned out.
with them again.
Okay, sounds good. And just so I'm clear, is there a specific
Yeah,
rate
second
that
that.
you would like to see?
Yeah,
market
I think that tabling and negotiating are
We
two
can-
different things.
Because you got to
can
bring
make
it
either.
back, right? You're gonna have to bring it back.
Or just like make no action?
Well, no action and we can
It's
table.
an RFP, I'm sorry to interrupt, either you have to award or reject.
Okay, so I make a motion to reject.
We have a motion
They
on
can
the,
award with conditions, right?
Right. You can also be awarded with conditions of negotiations. So it could be if you have a price in mind, it could be negotiated to that price. If we don't come to an agreement, then it wouldn't pass.
I think if we award with conditions, it still doesn't quite touch all the aspects that we discussed, right? The terms for the incubator, what kind of direction we want to go in it, the expansion. I mean, there's a lot of things that if we go with the awarding, I think it doesn't touch on a lot of the things we just
So we
discussed.
cannot table it then, or?
well, there is a motion to reject
To
it.
reject.
There's a motion to reject it by Councilwoman Cruz. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilman Diaz. Discussion. All in favor? Unanimous.
Is this, can this be treated the same way that we do the loans, the USDA loans, that we get a presentation?
As a committee?
And as a, not as a committee, but I mean, just so that we know what they're gonna do and maybe,
Like the way they do
since
the
it's an
abatements?
incubator, just so that we can discuss and we can make sure that, you know, the person that it's getting in, it's gonna be
Yeah.
helpful and discuss the rent?
I mean, I definitely agree with that, because this would essentially could become a long-term lease, so, yeah, I mean, that's definitely something council should be aware of. Sure, we can do that.
And I think if we can incorporate into the evaluation process how it fits into the downtown master plan, right? Like make that a component of evaluation. As I was noticing the presentation from the UT students, I was wondering if the efforts that we had already invested into the charrette and some of the work that we did with Able City a couple of years ago, how much of that was incorporated into their design, which, I mean, it was an amazing design, amazing concept. I think they did a great job of capturing our essence. But I think as we continue to grow and continue to phase out all these projects, it's important that we are doing coordinated efforts, right? And so if we can incorporate that into the evaluation process, I think it would best serve us.
Most definitely. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good feedback, thank you.
At this time, we'll move on to item 36, consideration and possible awarding / rejection of requests for qualifications. RFQ 2024-017 for the Camino Real International Bridge Expansion Presidential Permit Amendments.
Okay, for this RFQ, we received 5 proposals. We proceeded to select a panel committee composed of Mr. Valderas, Mr. McGee, Mr. Ibarra, Ms. Laura Sanchez, and Mr. Gutierrez. And after the initial rating, the city decided to conduct interviews. And after the interviews, there was another rating. And the recommendation was to select, well, it is to select LJA Engineering and to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the agreement.
Has this entity done similar projects?
They
Yes,
have-
so this firm currently was awarded the Colombia expansion project that is very similar to this. They did bring in a team of experts that are experienced in this type of process, which is what we need to make sure we can have an efficient process as we move forward.
We definitely want somebody that's done it before with experience, because this is probably one of the most important projects for the city.
That is correct,
Yeah.
Mayor.
Why does the criteria here only have 3?
The criteria for this, it was the qualifications and availability. That was one. The other one was their proposed staff. Their similar project experience, the project understanding and approach, and proposed project schedule and timeline.
I think he means why there's only 3 firms?
Out of
Right,
5.
'cause that-
So initially, there was 5 firms that submitted proposals. An initial evaluation is done based on the proposal itself. At that point, we shortlist to the top 3 based on the evaluation on the proposal itself. Then we move into interviews with the shortlisted firms, which are these 3 that you're seeing now. The reevaluation is post the interview.
Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
About LJA?
Where are they from?
LJA is it's a firm that we've used in the past at the City of Eagle Pass. Currently, their office, or this particular team that responded to this proposal, is from Laredo, Texas. And like I said, they brought a team equipped with the experts that we feel this process needs to be able to get it through the finish line in a timely manner. It does require a lot of experts from both, not only the United States that knows the federal government, the state government, but also in Mexico, because it's a binational project. So they did bring what the team felt was the necessary team to take on this project and to move forward as quickly as possible.
And it's impressive, they're moving in Mexico pretty fast.
Yes.
Right? And too many buildings, and
Yeah.
it's going
super fast.
It's going really fast. So, okay.
Do we have a motion on this item?
Motion
It's because you had a thing, but the only thing that I wanted is because you had said to authorize you, the recommendation was to authorize you to execute, but I don't mind making a motion to go ahead and approving that. The only thing is I would like it to come back to council for final approval before you execute.
Okay.
to see the
Let's do-
contract.
Do you want to make that motion?
That is the motion, sorry.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mayor Pro Tem Davis to approve, but bring it back before execution.
I'll second that.
Second by Councilwoman Cruz. Discussion. All in favor? It is
My
unanimous.
other right hand, sorry.
Thank you. 37, consideration and possible awarding / rejection of a request for qualifications RFQ 2024-019 for a general planning consultant for MPO.
Okay, for this particular request for qualifications, we only received, it was a sole proposal, a sole bidder from Stanley Consultant. And also, even though we just received one, also we selected a panel committee composed of Mr. Madera, Mr. Murua, Mr. Ibarra, and Mr. McGee. And their recommendation is to select a Stanley Consultant for this project.
But
What is
my
this
same
for?
question, do they have similar experience in this types of
What's the
field?
general planning consultant?
They actually do, study consultants, it's basically in all the PO meetings.
Okay.
So it's a very selected group, there's not that many companies in the state. or
Very
in
niche.
the country, actually, that manage NPOs. So, this was one of the companies who Mr. Madera can say, because he's attending all the NPO meetings, they're always there. So they are consultants for other cities that have NPOs.
Yeah, I just had one thing, covered most of the points. They have staff that's been involved with MPOs for decades, both from the TxDOT side and then now on the private side, so they know it backwards and forwards, and we feel comfortable with this group.
Excellent.
And just to add to this, this contract would be on an as-needed basis. As y'all know, we just got designated an MPO. I know right now we're pending the governor's signature. But this would just provide, since this is the first time the City of Eagle Pass and Maverick County have an MPO, we felt like it's important to have an expert on our side to make sure that we move this process forward correctly, right? So even though Mr. Madera has done an excellent job, I think we've agreed that having them be able to support us as we move through the process will be beneficial not only to the city but to the county.
Do we have a motion on this item?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Mayor Pro Tem Davis, second by Councilman Garcia. Discussion, all in favor? Unanimous. 38, discussion and possible action on update on Farm to Market Road FM 1021 connecting Eagle Pass through El Indio Highway to Laredo.
So, Mayor, Council, on the last legislation meeting that we have, a pre-legislation prep meeting that we had, State Rep. Mr. Morales had requested if we can formally send a letter of endorsement for the completion of 1021 or El Indio Highway from Eagle Pass to Laredo. So we decided to include this item to keep supporting that basically that highway that will connect Eagle Pass to Laredo.
Yeah, we've talked about this road for many years. It would be an amazing thing for the community, in my opinion. So at this time, anybody want to make a motion on this item?
Gladly. I'll make a motion.
Motion to
To connect
approve.
1021 to Mines Road and Laredo.
Motion to approve
Start construction tomorrow. No, I'm kidding.
I'll second.
and provide a letter endorsing this project by Mayor Pro Tem Davis and a second by Councilman Diaz. Discussion, all in favor? Unanimous. Executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Section 551.071, discussion regarding the donation agreement between City of Eagle Pass
You have the control.
and Larry Levine for the construction of the road to the proposed four-year university and possible action in open session. 40, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Section 551.087, discussion regarding Chapter 380 agreement with H2EP LLC and possible action in open session. 41, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Section 551.071, discussion regarding legal options against Puerto Verde Global Trade Bridge and Green Eagle Railroad, GER, and any other matter incident thereto and possible action in open session. 42, the executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Section 551.071, discussion regarding Attorney General opinion and expenditure report for 57 South event and possible action in open session. We are also taking items 24, 25, and 26 into executive session pursuant to 551.071 and 551.087. Thank you. Almost got it. So at this time, we will go into executive session at 7:56 PM. Thank you for your patience.